Coming at you live from responsible distances apart, this is the Blue Heaven Podcast. See, you know where this is weird? Because you're not there, Brooks. I don't see you, like fingering the air while I do the meh. But anyways, we are part of the Overtime Podcast Network. What is going on, Dodgers Nation? My name is Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on the Tweeters and the Instagram.
I'm really glad that you caught onto the fact that I actually do that with the meh, because I've been practicing. We're on episode 123, and I've been around for a lot of them. And I think you just caught on recently.
No, I've noticed for a while. I just tend to not bring it up. But anyways,
Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate my effort. What's up, guys? My name is Brooke. You can find me at BrookeB3 on Twitter and Instagram. On today's show, a lot happened, but nothing happened. I don't know the best way to say it. We're going to go over the Zoom party. We're on Zoom Party 4 now. Is that what we're on?
Zoom Party 4.
Dodgers Zoom Party 4.
Which is, I think, a new hope.
A new hope.
Yeah, it's a new hope.
And it's not Cody Bellinger. He is not the new hope. You'll get to hear about how dumb Cody Bellinger is. That's going to be a lot of fun. California is getting loose. Is that what we're saying?
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sponsored by Jack Daniels.
A little bit of the restrictions loosening up in California. We're going to talk about what that means for your Los Angeles Dodgers.
Plus, there's going to be money. The next part in the holdup for any potential baseball and sports and happiness, again, coming up anytime soon. We got to talk a little bit. We haven't done it in a while. We do have to talk about the Dodger Stadium renovation because it's pretty much ready to go. Well, we'll get into that more a little bit later in the show. Trust it's going to be worth waiting to hang out at the end of the show to hear us talk about that. But there will be also so much more. Before we get into things, before I go whoring for more things for money, we want to remind you guys to subscribe to this podcast, leave a review, leave a rating, all that kind of stuff. We are Blue Heaven Podcast on Apple. We are on, iTunes. We're on Spotify. Anywhere you could leave a rating, Stitcher, we'd appreciate it. If you leave us a really good review that's funny, we'll probably read it here on the show one of these days.
I might even get it tattooed on my body somewhere. You never know. You never know how things are going to go.
We also have to give a shout out to our friends over at Sportscaster. They are above my head today, right about over there. At Sportscaster, you could be the star of your own show. You could live stream. You could game. You could broadcast. You could be like the next Bob Memory. Just be a little bit more PG, I guess we'll say, than Joe Coy was today on the Dodgers Zoom Party. But if you want access, special events, all that cool stuff, you want to look like a pro, sound like a pro, go to sportscaster.com. That is CASTR.com today after this live stream.
After the live stream. I say it every single week. Don't forget, it's after the live stream. We're way more important, guys. Don't forget, it is a live stream, so make sure you drop into the comments. Let us know where you're watching from, where you're repping Dodgers Nation. What's on your mind tonight? I'm going to jump into a couple of these comments because we got people flying in from all over. Hatfield, first one in the chat, like always. Hatfield, we appreciate you. He says, hiya, gents. Good to see you, Brian. Okay. Good to see you. Leslie Taylor says, happy Monday, guys. Enjoying a good thunderstorm. Yeah, I was really surprised by the rain that was here this morning.
We had weather in Los Angeles, completely unannounced. That's not very nice. So I don't know. Like, what's your take on the weather? What's your guys' take on the weather?
What's my take on the weather?
Like, do you guys think it brings more COVID or does it wash away the COVID?
Well, I mean, I'm no scientist, but I'm going to say whenever it's moist outside, it's very surprising when it's been hot for the week.
About that all the time. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a little out there. Damn it, I can't not do this segue. Speaking of moist, Leslie also jumps back in and says, awesome stash, Brooke. That was my fault. That was my fault.
Yeah, you're getting kicked off of here for that one. I don't know how they're coming after us. I don't know how, but they're coming after us. Samuel Sanchez says, "Hey guys, hi from Mexico. Keep it on." We have a Mexico fan. That's cool. I don't know anybody that watches our show in Mexico. That's awesome.
I got a bike bell. Appreciate you hanging out with us.
Andre also says that mustache and then proceeds to laugh. I'm not sure what the laugh is about. Are you laughing at my mustache, sir?
Yes.
Yeah,
who doesn't?
that makes sense.
Hey, Brooke. This is an exciting day. Did you know that?
Is it?
Because guess who's here?
Is
Perez 1619 on Twitch.
Oh,
he's back.
Our Twitch fan.
President of Twitch.
President of Twitch. Good to see you.
Our president of Twitch, the president of Miami. president of the Marlins, all the same thing.
And to make it weirder, I'm just going to call him David because that's weird. And we also got Jose in the stream. Yes, that's Roach, but make sure you call him Jose. He loves that. Roach is drinking a Blue Moon with us on a Monday, so we appreciate you, you freaking lush.
Yeah, that's good. I'm drinking 2 Modelo's in 1 Dunkin' Donuts cup to feel like
you're really happy with that thing, aren't you?
Oh, dude, it's like you're at the stadium drinking out of one of their plastic cups. You could put 2 beers into it. It's just very satisfactory. I don't really know how to describe it to you. I don't have much in life right now. Sports are gone. Let me have this, okay?
Oh, fine. I mean, you got
plastic cups, but that was just me.
You got rid of the beard thing, by the way.
I did, yeah. I cut it off. Yeah,
you're awkwardly cleaned up. I've been thinking about.
The wife gave me an ultimatum.
On the
cut
street,
that off or else. And I don't know what the other else is, but
I think you and the dog switch spots. I think that's how that would
he
go.
He sleeps on a really comfortable couch, so that wouldn't be the worst.
All right, couch sponsor, dog couch. Dog couch. Dodgers Cheesehead is in the stream. Says hello, old friends, long time no see. I'm sorry, I don't know who Dodgers Cheesehead is. I don't know if that's a new user, but we do appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. Or
does that mean they're from Wisconsin?
Could be. Could be.
Or they're just a Packers fan?
So, yes, 100%. Tim says he's having problems with video. At some point, I'm just going to start saying that. Gary, you broke.
You broke.
You broke Skype.
Broke them. I'll put them back into the nice place. There you go.
Every time.
Are we okay? Are we alive?
Yeah,
we're never okay. We're never really okay, are we?
But I just try to keep keep them on their toes.
This show brought to you by Gary's Hangover.
What? Love it. Hatfield secured dogcouch.com for us, by the way. So
hell yeah.
We got a new sponsor to hit at the turn here after the 9th hole. All right, Gary, this is, I guess, our time. And anybody who happened to be watching the Dodgers Zoom party, the most recent one, episode 4, A New Hope. If you guys happen to be watching it, dig into them comments. We want to hear your takes. We want to get all of the, we'll say Cody Bellinger love. It's a little bit of Cody love because he was having a hard time with it, with existing as per usual. But Gary wasn't there.
I wasn't at all.
Gary,
please tell me what was going on.
Yeah, he was. Brooke, you want to start it out?
Yeah, I mean, I could give you a couple quick highlights of it real quick. Number 1, they all hate Austin Barnes. Number 2, Joe Coy does not care about language use in a Dodgers Zoom call. Number 3,
2B, Alana Rizzo does.
Oh yeah, that was the follow-up. Alana Rizzo definitely cares. And number 4, Cody is absolutely the least intelligent person I've ever heard of in my life, and the whole team knows it, and it's kind of great. Kind of really enjoy it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. We got Roach saying, "How does Cody not charge his phone before a work conference call?" Because
he's not the kind of guy to plan ahead. I don't think he thinks too much about that. But Jim over on Facebook says everyone dumping on Barnesy was awesome, and I appreciated that. I'm down for it. Ethier, I think, called him an angry little man. Which, I mean, it's just. That's a t-shirt, Gary.
I love Andre bullying him into telling his a real story about why he became a catcher, or why at ASU he was forced to be a catcher. Of course, both of them are ASU alums. Not at the same time. Dodger Rebel asks, "What's in Austin Barnes?" It's a type of angry fish. He's an angry boy
without friends.
Tim echoes Jim's sentiments. Says Barnes getting bagged on was awesome. And of course, David Rogers is right. They got beef. Mr. Rogers' son has beef with Austin Barnes. But Leslie says, "Who doesn't hate Austin Barnes?" Woody, I think Alex Wood is a fan. I mean,
they're friends. They're buddies.
Yeah, it's like bro ribbing, I guess. They're all like frat brothers in a way. And man, like. I think my second week in a row, my biggest takeaway from it. Well, I had another one I put on the website or on Twitter. I forgot what it was, but my biggest takeaway is these guys desperately want Andre Ethier back in the locker room.
Oh yeah, sometimes I forget like how important he was to the team as a whole, even when he wasn't playing. Like he absolutely is like a veteran leadership that they just love and appreciate. Like even you could see like Kershaw get giddy about Ethier. Mm-hmm. And he was just like, "Oh, Andre's here, Andre, yeah." And it was like, "Oh, that's weird to see Kershaw get excited to see somebody." But I mean, it's cool. Like Dre definitely has some swings left in him. Like, let's be real, he definitely has some swings in him. I'm surprised he just stopped. Like, he didn't pursue anything beyond. He got killed by a lot of things, but unfortunate timing was the biggest thing that killed him. I mean, that freaking shin fracture that he had, like, derailed his entire career because it just wouldn't stop hurting him.
Yeah, he had the shin thing that didn't go away, and then he was coming up at the end of his contract, couldn't hit lefties at any point in his career, and he didn't have Ned Colletti as a GM anymore, so he wasn't going to get a gig anywhere. So
he wasn't going to get a 3-year deal. So
rest in peace, Dre Day.
So he's retired, hanging out in Arizona.
Katie would give a kidney to get Dre back in the Dodgers uniform. That might be too much. I don't know what the going rate is.
I don't think he needs another kidney. I don't.
Yeah, he probably has.
He needs a shin if you have one.
I mean, kidneys I think are like 5,000 on the black market right now, so I don't think we can afford it.
I feel like that's not that much.
I'm frightened. Why you know that?
He thought about selling his kidney.
I have like 3 kidney stones in my kidney right now, so might as well get rid of this one.
Tim brings up a point that I had in the back of my head. Taxi squad for Ethier. It's Dodgers. They're not going to need all 30, 40, however many people are supposed to be on the active roster, or the taxi squad and all that. Like they could find a way to get Dre.
They're about to bring it. They're going to bring Andre Ethier, David Freese, and Chase Utley out of retirement and bring them onto the taxi squad. Confirmed. Brook it. Write it down. They're on the team.
I was a little bit. This was me being like investigative journalist, like picking up on one of the smallest little slivers of something and kind of running with it or letting it kind of build up in my mind. But yeah, Justin Turner mentioned, I forgot what it was on. I think it was with Joe and Oral on off air, or if not, it was live at Sunset Strip with Ross Stripling. Hopefully that boy sleeps again one day, but. He had mentioned the question was with off air Joe and Oral. It was who was like the best dressed Dodger or whatever, and they said Russell Martin. He said Russell Martin. He said, well, he's not on the roster right now, and I was like, oh, do they have a verbal agreement with R. Mart to come back? Russell, Nathan, Coltrane, Jensen, Martin to come back to my Los Angeles Dodgers so I can creep him out at the next event?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at it logically.
Oh wait, I'm gonna find it. Hold on. Where is it? Where's my I have
a lot of sounds.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's what happens. Hey, Brooke, that's what happens when he talks about Russell Martin. That's what happens in real life. All these different sounds coming around. Yeah.
He gets very flustered and doesn't know what to say and doesn't know how to. Yeah. He goes.
All right. I got liquid courage right here, boys. Wait,
there you go.
Sponsor. You got a face for the sponsor.
And you can talk to Russell Martin.
Tim, by the way, he penned a fine story for our DodgersNation.com about, please Dodgers, for the love of God, bring back Russell Martin. And, it makes all the sense for them to bring him back.
It does. I mean, if you're looking at the number of games played, the roster expansion, it makes sense to have a third catcher. There is no third catcher in the organization right now that can fill that gap. I mean, unless you're talking Rocky Gale, which is honestly a very boring way to fill that gap. Kiebert's not ready. It just makes sense.
Rocky Gale, his family doesn't even call him home for Christmas. Okay, Rocky Gale's not. Sorry, Rocky. He's a nice kid. Man.
Fred, you're probably nice. I don't know.
Fred,
you look like a skinny David Freese.
Megan says we all need Martin back in our lives. Jim says Russ for the pen. Yes.
Hell yeah.
There's your closer. Well, I would say by August, but by August it's only going to be like a month into the season. All-star closer Russell Martin. That's what's up right there.
Yeah, Perez said I could be the third catcher, and I've been known to be a catcher at points in my life. I don't know about catching Gratterall. I don't think I could do that. It just shatters my thumb.
There was another one I liked. I liked them asking Barnesy, how does he catch 100-mile-an-hour fastball?
It's like, I don't know.
I don't know. This happens. It's like safety.
Anyway, fair, I don't know. I don't really know how you describe how you catch 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Like,
I would just say magic.
It's magic. Like, I'm just that good.
Yeah, right. Oh, I loved it. Who the hell was it that said it? It was Andre. Andre said, "It's God given."
It's God given.
He dropped a Domingo Ayala in there. So we'll have, I think, hopefully we're going to have that full Dodgers Zoom party on our YouTube channel probably tomorrow, which is today for you listening on the podcast side, a Wednesday. So check it out, youtube.com/Dodgers Nation TV. And it should be a good time. That was for everybody out there in the audience. I apologize for my actions. So
I don't. Guys,
we got to talk about the state of the baseball. We got to talk about real things right now, because today, the governor, how many passed? Governor is
second one passed.
Gavin not Lux Newsom, which is his official name. Newsom came out today and did his weekly press conference thing, and he pretty much gave LA hope for the baseball, where he said, I probably should have had his full quote open already. But in short, or in full, because I have it here now, sports events could return in that first week or so of June without spectators and with modifications and very prescriptive conditions. They have to be met first. We can also begin to move forward on a number of different sectors, and economy will open up again, blah, blah, blah. Most importantly, or third most important, he also said, like, for example, getting a haircut might open up again, which I know, Brooke, you have to be thrilled at that idea. But yeah, Newsom giving people good news for once. What was your immediate takeaway after seeing that, Brooke, me 3?
I remember there was like the whole question about whether or not baseball would be able to come back in California at all.
Yeah.
After the fact that MLB was giving their proposal to the players union and shooting for July 4th, all that nonsense. We talked about it and we're like, well, California basically said that the stay-at-home order is going to go through July. So how does that work with the Dodgers? And so after that, there was a quote that came out that said that the Dodgers had worked it out with Newsom, and that there's a chance that they'd get a pass on it, and that they'd be able to play regardless as long as there was no fans. So when I saw this official report like come directly from him that said, hey, well, you can have sports in California. I mean, if you just think about like 2 or 3 weeks ago, he had said something that like almost completely shut down the thought of having sports in California at all. Whereas like, I don't see NFL having like football. And it was like, oh, so we're not having sports in California. And now all of a sudden we are. And that speaks to a lot of the conditions of the health standards across the state and across the country. And I don't know any of those numbers because I'm not that guy, but it sounds like to me things are getting a little bit better. And if he's allowing this to happen, that means things are starting to flatten out and get better. So it's, if anything, encouraging. I think you and I both know the financial standpoint of baseball and the players' organization and the uphill battle that faces still. But I mean, this is just one of those boxes to check off to get to the next step, and it's a big one. It is a big one.
Yeah, we'll get more into the money side of it, because that's ultimately going to be the biggest hang up for baseball returning. Besides health, besides state laws and all these other things, it's going to come down to the money, and that's unfortunate. But with that, well, I guess let's get into those next holdup. Again, we have the road to baseball essentially paved in California. What are those next set of holdups? It's the health stuff. So I called this particular section here "Health in the Time of Rona." Early last week, like we had mentioned last week, I believe it was. We found out more about it later on after we recorded the show, but MLB owners and players came to an agreement about one huge part about playing in 2020, and that was staying healthy through a pandemic, staying healthy through the COVID. And Gary, you have a graphic to throw up there. There's a bunch of different restrictions for players and for on-field personnel. So, I mean, even the dumbest, little things like exchanging the lineup at home plate. That's one of them. We see him here on the screen. There's going to be a new ball that's put in play anytime it's touched by anybody besides the pitcher and the catcher. Yeah. Fielders are encouraged to step away from the base runners when the ball is hit out of play. The big one, and I enjoyed this in the Zoom call, talking about the fact that players can't use chewing tobacco, they can't spit, there's no sunflower seeds, where I draw the line at sunflower seeds, but the spitting and the touching and the licking and the hugging and squeezing and loving every day and all that kind of stuff, that's going to be, I think, the biggest problem. Understandably, people got to wash their hands between innings, half innings, whenever they can get to the dugout. handling any of their equipment. Hey, if you know what I mean. And showering will apparently be discouraged at team facilities. But along with that, or in addition to that, they say there's going to be testing multiple times a week. Gary, you can go ahead and close that one now. There's going to be testing multiple times a week for players. I guess they're using a facility in Utah or something like that.
Yeah, it's one of the facilities that Major League Baseball helped convert to a testing facility when they agreed to that massive study, where they were like, everybody's going to take part in sampling and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, with that too, isn't part of it, because obviously there's the public perception of, how come all of these big leaguers, how come athletes can get a test but I can't? Because for the greater part, it seems like if you want a test, you can kind of get a test. I'm sure it's not every single
test. That's already been stated last week. So if you want a test, go get a test.
We don't know if that's everywhere across the country yet, but we know in California, and that's what we care about.
Well, it's because our governor's fighting
California.
Things, that's why.
Yeah, he said governor too. I'm drinking to that.
Governor now. Yeah, so I know the public perception for Major League Baseball that they were worried about, and understandably so, was that people were going to look at it and say, like, why are they given any sort of priority? I mean, baseball put the money towards it. I don't know what else to tell you guys.
Baseball put the money towards their own tests, and they said they'll also, test other people out of it. So,
it's not their fault that your government sucks.
You know what?
Cheers to that.
I would say fail on government, and cheers for a fine point. I guess I got to give you a couple points.
Every business, every company right now, they know that it's part of their job now to provide a safe environment for their employees. Just like, if any company that you're working at, any company that has proper health insurance, they're required to have a ergonomics expert come by your desk and help you set up everything so that they're not liable for putting you in a bad spot. So,
Gary, that person has not showed up to my house. I wouldn't file a grievance with you.
You built your own desk.
Which one? I've built so many desks.
Yeah. I mean, you hear like Twitter, they actually made it permanent now that all their employees are going to work remote. So a lot of these companies know that the costs are going to be significant to help protect their employees. And protecting employees means testing, knowing which employees are going to be sick, whatever it is. Their insurance companies are going to dictate it. The insurance companies are going to dictate it. Because after all this is done, we're going to figure out how much does it cost to treat coronavirus. And then from there, that's how much everybody's premiums are going to go up.
Certainly. It's a lot to consider in terms of the medical side of things across the country, because that's going to go on for quite a while. But in regards to Major League Baseball, Clint, I kind of just wanted to ask you about these rules real quick before we moved on. I mean, even these like simple things, like from a pitcher's perspective, like this as well as I do, if you have to sanitize your hands between innings, that's not good for your grip on a baseball. And so aside from that, there's also the fact that who's rubbing up the ball with clay before games, or are you still rubbing up those balls?
I did see stuff on that. I think Barstool or somebody did a study about Barstool doing a study, so you could really take that one to the bank.
Dark times.
Well, we're looking at Barstool and Trevor Bauer for Entertainment Online, but the study found, and I wouldn't quote me on it exactly, but the study found that hand sanitizer or whatever didn't affect the player's grip. Of course.
I do have
every half inning.
I do have an example from that. My friend is a baker, and then he has his own shop in downtown, a Cafe Dolce. So he used hand sanitizers multiple times a day before all this, right? Just to keep his hands clean.
Yeah.
And if you ever felt his hands afterwards, the hand sanitizer is full of alcohol, dehydrates your hands.
Yeah, after dries it out.
If you feel it out, his hands feel like leather. They would give him super grip on a baseball, if you think about it. So I'm just saying, like, maybe, but that's after like years of using it. But
well, I mean, it really depends though. You don't want like you want nice, firm, supple leather, like in a new car, not worn,
stiff,
broken
down
10-year-old Acura TL leather.
Yeah, that was his hand.
That's all
his
cracked.
hands felt like sandpaper at a certain. When you shake his hands, it's just you're like, oh, at least they're clean, But it's just sandpaper hands. So that's the downside of hand sanitizer. They're gonna have to wash their hands and with soap,
lotion
soap
up or
yeah.
whatever. Also
Yeah,
with the hand sanitizer though, like you got to figure a lot of these pitchers, the unwritten rule of going to the rosin, whatever, having bits and pieces of things to help sticky up their hands a little bit. I can't imagine rosin working all that well with or pine tar working all that well with hand sanitizer.
It definitely changes pine tar. It definitely changes things up. It's going to be a weird game, and I'm sure they're going to have to dictate what kind of hand sanitizer you're allowed to use and what certain percentage alcohol it's allowed to have in it versus, I don't know, moisturizer or lotion or whatever it's going to be. There's going to be a lot of things that go into this that we haven't thought about. But I thought one really interesting tidbit from that little description that came from The Athletic, and that was the report that was released, was that fighting is banned, which fighting was already banned.
That's how
I don't know if it was ever was it ever sanctioned? Was it as allowed?
They weren't ever like, yeah, you can fight, but you probably shouldn't. But they had to make sure, like, hey guys, you really can't fight now. Like, you really can't. And I thought that was like, that made me laugh when I saw that the little note. I was like, yeah, I mean, you're not supposed to fight. I got that.
Pulling a barstool twofer here. The starting 9 guy, that guy Jared whoever. Carabas, whatever that angry little boy. He was talking to the Bruce Hoffer, Phillies outfielder Bruce Hoffer, former future Dodger, and Harper. I'm aware I said Bruce Hoffer. That's what I do around here, guys. If you're new to the show, hey, cheers.
You really got to tune in.
Really got to listen to the whole show. Yeah, but he was asking about that. Funny enough, Carabas asked Harper about the helmet incident with Hunter Strickland and all that, and the conversation went to why not just have it like hockey, where it's like, all right, you guys want to fight? F it, just go for it. You guys get this long as soon as somebody hits the ground, just let it. I mean, these dudes want to fight. There's no reason for all these people, for the dugouts to empty out, and you can't do that these days. Puig, there's a good reason Puig doesn't have a job right now, because he knows he can't fight the damn the Pirates next season.
The entire Pirates team.
The entire Pirates, along with Amir Garrett, at least on the side. So I'm on board with that. Just let 2 people fight, and then quarantine them. Boom, there it is.
I mean, there's a reason why NHL survived this long. People don't really watch hockey for hockey as much anymore as they used to.
Yeah,
people want fights.
You were just talking about before we went live how you enjoyed the fight this weekend, because one, it was the only sports you had, but also it's entertaining stuff.
Yeah, I mean, UFC has definitely gone downhill in the last 5 years. It used to be really great, and now they're not too great. But the
we
fact
still
that there
pay
was
for it.
Yeah, the fact that there's no other sports on this weekend and then UFC was on was like, heck yeah, I'm watching every single fight. And I did. I watched the undercard, I watched the main card, I watched every single second of it. And it was very entertaining. And if you guys watched, I'd like to hear your opinions below, because there was obviously no fans, and that's something that we're going to have to get used to with baseball. And I feel like it's maybe different with baseball, but in a good way. Like, it's really different in UFC when there's people supposed to be ringside, like all around you, and they're announcing you, and the guys are like bumping their fist, and there's no fans there. But I'd like to know if you guys watched it. Let me know what you thought of it below, because we got to get used to no fans, guys.
Couple comments here. Katie says, I'm going to miss players yelling in umpires' faces, though. I think JT actually did bring that up, or he addressed that with probably Jonah. I don't know. Like, we keep talking about this. I don't know if we've mentioned it on air or not, but it's so weird. It's so funny how these players are just kind of going in a rotation, like who's going to go interview with what podcast or what show or be on the Zoom call this week. And then you see him also on Sportsnet, and you see him here, and then you just get this market saturation, and you can't go get them and whatever. And that's why we haven't bothered to get any freaking players on here of late. But I don't know. I forgot where I was going with that rant.
Well, if we are, we're going to have a different take on it.
Oh yeah, we got some things in the works, guys. Keep it tuned here. But
keep it tuned.
Keep it tuned. That's what people say, right? Press a like. Mash that heart button, fam squad. I was going somewhere. Oh yeah, like JT talking about it. How he's fully aware that he's been guilty of the yelling at umpires and all that. I mean, it was more along the lines of the conversation about the robot umpires and all that. If I'm not mistaken, I think you wrote up something about that, Brooke. But still, JT is aware of the rules and all that kind of stuff. Whatever.
The one question I do have is, for the players like JT who wear like gloves and all the padding. Mainly it's the gloves, right? You know, that's gonna get infected. Like, are they gonna have to wear new gloves every time they go out on the field? That means they have to have like how many sets, right? That's
hey Siri.
Yeah.
Hey Siri, how much COVID can a beard hold?
Yeah, JT's gonna have to shave every time.
It depends on how moist it is and how warm.
Oh, it's our word of the day, moist. So many people.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely a lot of things to consider that along with those rules, those who test positive will be quarantined until they test negative twice, which certainly changes up the pace of a season. Like, I mean, imagine if, I mean, I can't think of a team, right? I mean, who's like a team that's on the fringe, but okay, the Angels. How about the Angels? They're on the fringe, but if they don't have their star player, they're not on the fringe. They suck.
Yeah.
If the Angels, Mike Trout, tests positive in the middle of a playoff run, he's out for 2 weeks. I mean, at least he's going to be gone for at least 2 weeks before he tests negative twice, and
so
they're going to be without him for at least 14 games. Yeah. And so when you think about that, that definitely changes up the course of a season, because you got to be really careful with some of your more important guys. I mean, the whole team, but really those more important guys. Like you talk about like Shohei Ohtani or Mike Trout getting infected, like that ruins your whole season. You might as well just throw in the towel at that point. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that are going to go into the season whenever it actually happens. And it sounds like it's actually happening. And as another part of that, those who have been in contact with a positive test will also have to be instantly tested as well. So the good news is people are being tested. It's part of the process. You're going to see a lot of these players really upset, I think, because the testing is not fun, from what I understand. I had a friend take it the other day, and he was like, yeah, that was the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And then he's like, and I've had a prostate exam. So I was like, oh, boy.
Press F in the chat, boys.
Yep.
I want to take a sidebar here to call out our new friend here, Dark Fantasy. He says, you need to lose weight bad. So, Brooke, you fat son of a bitch.
I'm trying. We're in quarantine, bud. Quarantine 15 be hitting hard.
I love making it this many episodes in, and I feel like that's the first high-quality fat joke. So, quality comment from Dark Fantasy. We're sorry your mother never loved you. Anyways, anything else you guys want to bring in there? Let's find maybe a couple more comments. Leslie, they want us to stop saying the M word, so we will do that. We will honor Leslie's request and not keep going there. Extreme Kane says, hey, hi, Extreme Kane. I love your son raising.
Ah, I see what you did there.
Perez wants to know, do you even lift, bro? Hell yeah, I lift my ass out of the seat a couple times a day.
Alfredo says the mustache adds 10 pounds. Thanks, Alfredo. Good looking out, brother. I appreciate you.
Oh, God. I need to remind myself, title this episode that.
The mustache adds 10 pounds.
Tina G-Man called us a finger prick. No, I heard they can test you via a finger prick. I haven't seen that one.
Oh.
I don't.
That's a lot less painful.
Yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, instead of shoving the Q-tip to your brain and scraping it or whatever the hell they do.
There's a lot of tests. It's just that the problem is how accurate they are. That's all of it.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that myself and Clint are not, what's that word? Educated. So all we know is that they shove a Q-tip up your nose, and that's one of the testing methods.
Straight through your nose.
Just like right up there.
Right into your brain.
Yeah, so I'm going to be home now for the rest of my life. I don't want that.
Hatfield says he enjoys prostate exams. Just going to take that completely out of context.
We're very proud of you. Brook me 3 for that one. Gotcha. So again, let's kind of move on to the other part of the biggest holdup for baseball. It's not going to be the health. Funny enough, it's not the pandemic that's the holdup for baseball in 2020. No, it's the teams, it's the owners, and it's the players, and it comes down to money, money, money. Who do you trust? So
this is where you cue up Pink Floyd, but
no, I always go with Joker, Batman '89, Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a great scene. It's a great scene. But to give the full circle here, to paint the full picture, I wrote it out so it's easier for me to kind of give through. In late March, as a lot of people know, many of you, especially you, that guy right there.
Yeah.
not you, the other guy. MLB, the owners and the players all came to an agreement that paid them through the end of May. I forgot what the money was, what the number was, but whatever. That was less important. And it also, that promised them like a percentage of the season's salary. But there was fine print in that agreement that everybody signed, and that fine print was if fans aren't allowed to get into the stadium, then maybe we got to revisit this contract. Well, it seems like the players aren't quite ready to honor that fine print, understandably, but the owners and MLB, I even think in this, are really trying to stand behind what was agreed upon in a way, or the other way around. They're trying to, you guys know what I'm talking about. The other way around. Players want to say, no, we didn't agree to that. And the other way around is we want to get more money, or we want to balance it out, because the way it's looking right now, how much was it? Like almost 650 grand per game that baseball would be losing
on average.
Baseball said that on average they'd be losing $640,000 per each game played in empty ballparks. So from the ownership side of things, it's really shocking to me, because I think we all kind of thought it was a little bit backwards, where the owners would be fighting for more games.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at it, their argument is like, hey, based on the number of losses, the things that we have, the financial losses, the local TV deals, all these things, the gate revenue that we usually have, the food revenue that we usually get per game, all these things that go into it, everything that goes into it, they're like, we're actually losing money when we're playing games, because we also have to pay the players. So if we have to pay them that prorated salary, we're losing a ton of money, because they're saying, hey, we're losing $640,000 a game. And that's a lot.
You know what's funny to me is when I read that, oh, they made $640,000 a game for the last billion years. So you ain't saving your money. That's your fault.
It's definitely, when you're looking at it, you're like, people are going to read into that a different way, guys. I'd be careful about how you say that.
Absolutely two sides to this argument, and both of them kind of are wrong in a way.
Right.
Yeah, they made that money, no doubt, but either way, like, the players shouldn't be the one to put themselves at risk financially in this particular situation. But baseball, or teams, are lined up to lose. They lose more money playing games than they would not playing those 82 games that are reportedly on the docket, which is weird. I mean, I get it. That's the way it is right now. That's the way it's lined up. They'd lose an extra, chump change $1 billion if they played 82 games and paid the players the originally agreed upon salary number. It's just mind-boggling the way that can't work itself out, properly. But
I thought my biggest takeaway from this whole thing was that the players union asked the league to be able to prove that figure. And they were like, hey, okay, we understand that there's a reason why you're asking for this prorated cut again, but we need you to prove financially why you need that cut. If you don't need it, then we're not giving it to you.
Yeah.
And
they
so
want to see the
when
emails or something.
When they're like, hey, just prove to us that you have it. And then the Major League Baseball came back and said, you need to be more specific. You need to be specific about which timeline you want, what finances you need, what revenue you're looking at. And they're like, you just told us you lose $640,000 per game. Prove that to us. And they're like, well, you need to be more specific with it. And they're like, what the hell's wrong with you guys? So for me, this is like looking at the CBA expiring at the end of 2023. Like, this is something that you and I have been trading for years, and all of a sudden it's happening in 2020. And we're like, holy crap! Like, this is going to be really bad if they can't figure this. I forget who said it. I think it was Kershaw the other day that had said it, where he's like, if medically we are able to play and the two sides can't figure it out still, that's a big problem. And that's a really bad look. That's a really bad look for both sides.
It's going to be more of a bad look for the players, though. The owners are so savvy at putting out the press releases. Look how bad they made the players look right now. They knew that there's going to be a player like Blake Snell who mouths off during a stupid Twitch stream and was asked the wrong question at the wrong time and in the wrong context. And then everybody grabbed that and then made the players look horrible. I believe, the players have a good, Snell, I thought, voiced it pretty well. He articulated his points pretty well. But at the end of the day, it's like, I don't want to get paid $50,000 to play baseball. That's how he said it. And then it's like, that's all everybody heard. And then you have doctors, nurses going, man, I'm going every day risking my life for that stuff. Then that just gets mixed up. So the owners know. I mean, they've been around this too long to not know how to play this media game. And they put it out there, and they've been ahead of it every time. No player and no member from the Players Association has been actively trying to get baseball back. That's their problem. They don't have somebody there to try and figure things out with them. So right now, only the owners are controlling the narrative right now.
Yeah, you got that, and then you have, on the other side, I would say the only thing for the players has sort of been like maybe Scott Boras, inside of John Heyman's pocket or whatever it may be. Right. Like that's about the only time you hear from the players, unless they get asked the same stupid questions over and over again on every medium they go visit. But ultimately, we've hit a point where something has to give. One side needs a cave, and it really needs to be the owners a little bit more. I mean, players, the money's gotten just dumb in professional sports. I think everybody in the goddamn world can agree to that. Shout out Joe Coy. They can agree to that. But somebody needs to take a little bit of concession here. And, at some point in time, whatever side takes it, MLB, or I should say the owners are still going to hike up the prices everywhere they can to make up for it, whether or not they stick with the agreement now, or they find an agreement that works better for them or the players or whatever the hell it may be. We're all going to end up paying for it. The bottom line, for tickets, for concessions, and all that kind of stuff. And it sucks. It just really sucks. But, you're talking about Snell. You're talking about Kershaw. Snell, I would not want, I don't know the guy. The only thing I know about Blake Snell is he's nasty, and he's got an American League Cy Young Award under his belt. But just the perception of that dude is not the guy I want representing my league or the players in any sort of way. He just, I mean, we grow up in different areas, different hoods. I grew up in the hood here on the borderline of Whittier and Pico. I got I got hoes in different area codes. I got friends that all talk different, and I say dumb crap all the time too, but there's just there's a cadence, there's a way you carry yourself when you're talking about something as big as that is. And that was probably, like you said, Gary, just in passing, talking shit in a Twitch stream might not have been the best look for you and your peers.
The thing I didn't like about that was that Clayton Kershaw was like very heavily misquoted when he was talking about Blake Snell, and that drove me up a wall, man. Yeah. And unfortunately, I mean, he was misquoted by some people that we kind of partner with on something, so I don't want to get too specific with it. But basically, it was like Clayton Kershaw agrees with Blake Snell, and it's like that's not the case at all. Clayton Kershaw was like, I understand where he's coming from, I understand what he means. There's a better time to do that. There are representatives who do that for us. There's, I understand what he means, but ultimately, like the two sides need to come together and make an agreement. He didn't say like, hey, this is on the owners, which is what Blake Snell said. Hey, this is on the owners. Clayton Kershaw was like, hey, I understand what he means. The two sides need to come together and figure this out, though. And I posed a tweet on Twitter, obviously, the other day that said, who do you trust? Do you trust the millionaires or the billionaires? And it's a common misconception is that everybody who plays is a millionaire. They're not all millionaires. I mean, we specifically, like us three, have talked about guys that when we're considering the pay cuts being taken, you don't think about, like, I don't want to think about the Kershaws. I don't want to think about the Harpers. I don't want to think about the Garrett Coles of the world. I want to think about the Matt Beatties of the world. Yes. I want to think about the Chris Taylors of the world. I want to think about these guys who aren't making, in comparison, I mean, Taylor, I guess, got a pretty big bump, but in comparison, aren't making a ton of money. So when you start considering all these cuts, Gary, I think you landed on a figure that, like, Matt Beatty might be making about $100,000 this year after all the cuts, and that's pre-tax.
Yeah.
So, and they just bought a house.
A lot of you might make more than Matt Beatty this year if this all goes through. Like, there's so many things to consider, and when you're looking at the lives of these players, they make a lot of money. Yeah, some of them make like $30-something million. Yeah, that's a ton of money. But on the flip side of that, they have something that you do not. They can play baseball. They can do it at professional level, and you want to watch them play that sport. They have that to offer to you. You do not have that to offer to them. So to say that I really find it hard to say that players should accept anything less than what they're worth. Gary, you know as well as I do, if you do a job very well, you get paid for it, and you don't accept anything less than what you think you should be paid for it. And,
it's the Dark Knight. So you never do anything for free, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If you're good at something, you never do it for free.
For the love of they're like, yeah, they should do it because they love the game. It's like, yeah, I'm sure they love the game, but they still have bills to pay. They still have a future to plan for. This only lasts so long. You're not playing till you're 65. You're not getting that payday till you're 65. If you're lucky, you play until you're 35. If you're lucky. Most guys aren't that lucky. So to say that they should just write off this year and forget about it and just take a giant pay cut and just let the owners walk away smiling and happy and holding hands, that's irresponsible. I think it's incredibly irresponsible to think like that. I agree. They make a ton of money. And in comparison to teachers and people that I think should be paid a lot more, and Gary, I think teachers should be paid a lot more after you spend all this time at home with your kids. So I'm going to definitely throw that one out there. Comparatively, obviously, a lot more, but I mean, if I'm going to side with the millionaires or the billionaires, I'm going to side with the millionaires.
Yeah, it's basically supply and demand. I mean, that's the thing that dictates salaries in this capitalist society. If there's more people willing to take your job for that amount, sorry, But baseball, you qualify to get paid that amount. So I get some people, like definitely teachers, nurses, teachers and nurses for sure are some of the most underpaid people in the freaking world for what they do, and it's just a matter of figuring out, hopefully society one day figures out how to compensate them. Maybe tax breaks, maybe free education, maybe all this kind of stuff that governments can do. But baseball still, there's only a finite number of people that can actually do this job because there's only a finite number of people open slots for this job. So are they going to...
Well, I mean, Brooke and I can do it.
Yeah.
We just can't do it as well.
Blake is this. Blake Snell can just straight up say, I'm not going to play for that money. The owners can say, okay, someone in the minors would.
Yep.
And then Snell's gone. So
that's
now,
the thing that but then now the players are going to back Snell up because you can't do that.
Oh, you have to, and then for sure.
Yeah, they can. And Tim Rogers, I'm going to back-to-back Tim Rogers comments here in a second, but I got a sidebar selfishly and say, I see you, Wani. He's talking crap about me talking crap, and that's not cool. He's a friend of mine. Anyways, Tim says the MLB Players Association is leaderless. Tony Clark and company messed up badly with the last CBA, which the most points we've ever awarded here on the show. And then a second tweet, he says, future of the game may be at stake where they might not ever play again. And that's the biggest thing that we're at right now, is that if they do something stupid where they can find the way, and we already said it here, they could find a way to play the game, responsibly. They could be healthy. They could test. They could be smart about it. They could, socially distance 82 games plus playoffs. And they don't because they can't work together on a financial number. Then what's the point of this? Like we don't deserve baseball, or they don't deserve us as fans, I should say, because they're all just greedy pricks.
It would be incredibly irresponsible of both sides to not be able to come to agreement one way or another.
But who takes the concession?
I mean, realistically, like when you're looking at it, let's say the season was called off because we couldn't come to an agreement. People would put it on the players. That's what it would come down to. Yep. They would say you didn't take a pay cut, you didn't give in to what they needed to make the league happen. This is on you, and it would ultimately fall on them. And that's unfortunate. Yeah. That's unfortunate because realistically, when you're looking at it, the owners could very easily make this season happen and take a loss and hopefully recoup it over the next 5 years. They could, and they probably will. But I mean, when you're looking at it, these guys are really taking hits. And I look at those lower level guys who are really not going to be making out really well this year, one way or another. Like even without the extra added cut, they're probably not making out too well this year. So it's going to be, as Tim said, you either make less money or you make no money, because you're either going to make less money for playing a season or no money when there's no season. So I mean, there's two sides of it, and I'm really hopeful that they can come to an agreement as soon as this week, and they can figure it out, and tensions will ease, and the ownership will think about the long term. Tim pointed out the CBA ends after 2021. You got to be thinking long term here. You got to be playing the long game, because if you're going to piss them off, if you're going to piss the players off right before the season, before the CBA expires, I mean, you're talking about not having a 2020 season. You might not have a 2022 season, 2023 season. It's going to get real complicated.
I mean, it was already going to be complicated heading into 2022 and 2023 because that CBA expired at the end of next season. But it's a really precarious spot, and there's so many avenues that lead them down the wrong path of doing something really stupid that destroys the game, destroys the credibility, and destroys everything that they've really worked for over the past 25 years or so since the last strike. I mean, they went through so many years. I think there was like eight work stoppages between 70 some odd and 94, and we've gone this long without a work stoppage, except for 9/11 and now a major global pandemic here. You can't let money be worse than COVID. That's, I guess, I don't know.
That's quotable.
That's good. It's quotable. Run it. I'll wait. There was one part. I mean, we're at a point right now where, and we're going to get to Dodger Stadium stuff in a second. We want to be happy. We'll
end on a happy note.
We'll end on a happier note. And yeah, as and if news develops this week, we will come back on live. It will be another podcast this week. But what's really troubling to me, and I feel strongly that that's a quality word to use here. Brooke, I know you saw Mark Teixeira's stupid comments, and I know you saw I want to be a human so bad, Alex Rodriguez, and his dumb comments where – Alex Wood hit the nail on the head talking about Teixeira's comments being just so stupid. Teixeira, keep in mind, the dude made a crap ton of money over his career and is no longer playing baseball, so he doesn't have to face this actual situation that he's in. He said he would rather make pennies on the dollar and give hope to people. 100,000% bullshit. If I had a bullshit button on here, I would click it so many times and so hard. You are a dirty phony, and apparently it runs in the Yankees family. Even though we already knew A-Rod's pretty much a phony, but Alex Rodriguez continues to prove, like I said, he just doesn't understand how flesh humans work. He tried to be inspirational by completely avoiding looking at the camera in some awkward way, but he fell flat right on his stupid face. He's talking about like you need this, the players need this, everybody needs to come together, and again, it's the same sort of thing where you're doing this for the people. You're doing this for America, for the community. No, you're trying too hard here, Chief. You don't care. I like Dallas Braden. Man, this is a 3 for anybody related to
all the Barstools.
All the Barstool, right? Hey, those dudes. Did you guys see that? Like, there's some ladies podcast, and these ladies make like $75,000 a year plus $2,500 an episode. We got to get renegotiated here. Anyway, Dallas Braden. I know, crushing it. Dallas Braden says, "Take it from me. I think this is supposed to be him, air quoting like he's being A-Rod here. Take it from me. I have always had the players union and MLB's best interest in mind. If it seems like I'm pulling up the ladder behind me and looking down at you, asking you to take one for the team, well, that's kind of what it is. Sorry." And
I mean, A-Rod made what, like over five? He made like $500 million. He made like $500 million throughout the course of his career. Not to mention the fact that he cheated for a large majority of that said career, and now he's with J-Lo. It's like, dude, you don't get to talk about that. You don't get any say in this at all. Like, if you're still playing, sure, say something. Get the hell out of here.
Lane. This is his lane, but stay in your lane.
I mean, absolutely.
I just really wanted to
think about that.
I just really wanted to leave this stuff in because damn, do I hate Alex Rodriguez.
Oh, yeah. I think A-Rod's scum of the universe, and I think he's the worst baseball player that ever touched the planet. But aside from that opinion I have about him, I will say completely aside from it, I think it's just a really bad take. And I think
it's a terrible take.
Think that if you are not playing baseball, that you shouldn't really be able to have much of a say in it. Like I was listening to the Pat McAfee show. Shout out to Pat McAfee. He's kind of associated with Barstool too, so there's another one. He was talking about Blake Snell, and first of all, he's like, I don't know what the hell a Blake Snell is. Is that guy important? And someone's like, well, he used to be. And so he's like, Major League Baseball has just got the worst dudes representing them. Like they just have the worst guys. He's like, I understand what Blake Snell's saying. Like, I understand that he wants his money and he should get his cheese. He's like, but man, they got the worst guys that are the loudest ones.
JT needs to represent the league.
Oh, dude. I mean, if you talk about a guy that you'd want to represent your team, first of all, great representative for the Dodgers. Well spoken, knows what to say and when to not say things. And I mean, is just probably one of the most well spoken guys that you could ever imagine. So if you put that dude as the face of Major League Baseball, I feel like Major League Baseball would be in a much better place. Plus, he's just freaking likable. I don't know what else to say.
Very likable dude. Very likable.
And a
dude.
beard. He's got a beard.
He's got a beard. Trust people with beards. Ricky Bobby Trujillo says, which dumb comment? A-Rod has so many. Few points for that.
Shout out to A-Rod.
Santiago says, I was starting to be okay with Alex Rodriguez. Now, back to not liking him.
Yeah, he definitely had like an evolution after his career where he became a decent human being, and now he's Mario says, I got to prep my microphone here because I got to do it in the vein of Tommy. Mario says he's taking Lasorda's advice and stay safe. Stay inside. I just want to know who went near Lasorda. That's all I need to know.
Wear your mask. Okay, Tommy, you can
just like
you can
leave Tommy
down,
alone,
buddy.
Guys. Leave Tommy alone. He's got to stay at home.
Sorry for any headphones listeners there, but it's Tommy. You know, he really only gets wound up for like two things these days, and it's whenever AM 570 comes and asks him to do something. So shout out AM 570, the LA Sports something whatever, I forgot what they're called, but they're nice kids, friends of the show. Tina says life's too short to hate anyone. I agree 99.9% of the time, except for the Astros and Alex Rodriguez. But moving on, we said we were going to do something ever so slightly happy, ever so slightly fun. And, well, our friend, YouTuber John K, with a K, he came out with another one of his drone videos, and I got to say, it's a chef's kiss. So Brooke and I are here. We're going to watch this video here, and Gary, feel free to go along with us. But there's more of the renovation view of what's going on at Dodger Stadium, the plaza, and you know, it looks great. But what was your first takeaway from looking at these this visuals, Brooke?
Sadness.
Me too. I was like, I want to be there.
So it's about as close to being done as you could have imagined at this point. And so when you're looking at it, you're like, oh man, it looks great. Like it's awesome. Like the grass is in, the outfield walls is up, the home run seats are ready. Yep. And then you're looking at it and you're like, oh, I'm not going to get to be there this year. And it made me really, really sad because like, I'm not going to be able to see it till 2021. And that's just a hope. That's not even a guarantee at this point. Exactly. So number one, very excited. I think it looks awesome. I love the new setup with center field being like the main entrance look. And I think they've done a great job with it. They've obviously had a lot of time to think about it and do what they want with it because they didn't have to be ready by opening day. And I'm excited. You know, I think when we get to finally go back, it's going to be a really great experience. And I think it's going to be awesome. But it's just it just made me so sad when I was looking at it. And I was like, I can't be there. I'm not going to be able to go in the bullpen bar and drunkenly yell at the opposing pitcher. Yeah. And like pound on the glass and get thrown out of the stadium. And it made me sad that I'm not going to be able to do that. But I'm trying to be happy about it.
Looks
I'm trying
great.
to enjoy the positives. It does look awesome. Yeah. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to be back, guys. I can't wait.
It looks like an addition more so than a renovation. It just didn't change anything crazy.
It was the final piece. It was the final piece that Dodger Stadium needed because I've talked crap about that area behind Dodger Stadium for behind the pavilions for the longest time. It's like you have all this beauty, you have all these great sights. And if you want to, you know, especially after the 2014 renovation with the bars and the other eateries back there behind the pavilion, if you want to get to any of those, you have to walk through this ugly ass asphalt where, you know, you have the smoker's den of weirdos doing whatever. And it was just and there's a chain link fence. Like, this isn't a construction site. This chain link fence has been here for decades. It looked terrible. And now you have, like we saw in the video, you have the Jackie Robinson statues out there. Last we heard when we were at the stadium at the beginning of March, I think it was, we heard the Koufax statue was supposed to drop there in the Centerfield Plaza in June, so we don't know if that's still the case. I really also liked.
You can't have it. You got to have a ceremony for it. You can't have a ceremony without people. So I'm sure they have to push that back until fans are allowed to.
They can still do it though.
No,
they can still do it like
he should be honored like everybody else gets honored, like with people,
that's true.
With press there. He's the guy that deserves it. So try to push it back a little.
I mean,
bit,
there may be some press, but one of the things I really liked, and I don't know, I'm pretty sure, like we look at that video and I'd say that looks about 95% done outside. We don't know what it's like in the guts, and that was going to be the biggest concern still, even if they had kept up the speed, the rate they were working on it and for opening day, all the things that are going on under it. We don't know if those were going to be ready, but when I really like the dirt walking path area, like the sort of it's a patio to get to the new concession stands. I don't know if that's going to be like that for when the season the stadium is officially complete, or if they are going to lay more cement or whatever. It looks like it's going to be like that, because for the greater part, it's up to you. Might as well. We got some more to talk about it, but you look at that, and when now we see it on the screen, the dirt areas there for the concessions, like that's really cool. It's something that's a little bit different. It kind of gives it that sort of spring training complex feel.
It's not going to be there for forever. Right?
I don't know. Grass. I mean, with all of grass. Do you think they're going to go grass?
I mean, not real grass. You're talking about
fake
grass in that dirt area.
You're talking about the. You're talking about in the actual like eating area, like the beer garden area. No, that's going to be dirt.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
They're going to put picnic tables on top of it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you look at everything else, like all of the landscaping, it looks completed. The screens are up, all the LED screens that they're gonna have up. What they had, like 2 full or 3 full video screens, plus a couple more ribbon boards back there.
It's about to be lit.
Yeah, Sophia has the greatest DJ booth in the world.
Yeah, those speakers.
Yeah.
So we're sorry. Like Norma says, she's sad to see the video again. We're sorry to see.
So sorry for sadness.
Well, it's just something we need, and we appreciate John K. I'm pretty sure he's not even supposed to be droning up there, but John has done fantastic work droning. He does a lot of this stuff. He hits Dodger Stadium. He's hit it all throughout the offseason. He's doing SoFi Stadium. He's not part of the extra $500 million SoFi is trying to get, or the Rams are trying to get. But yeah, oof. But everything about it looks perfect, and I think now, like you said, Brooke, the outfield walls are up, that center field kids play area is up, and the way it looks, or the way Justin Turner mistakenly mentioned that he's going to be going to the stadium this Thursday to kind of like stand in the box and get the batter's eye. So I think we're going to be getting some content out there. Shout out Eric V. I'm pretty sure he's about to be producing a video that he gets from players showing up at Dodger Stadium and kind of getting a socially distanced tour of the new grounds. But if JT is saying he's going to be there, it's because it's done. That thing is done. That might be, like I said, the little odds and ends, dotting the T's, crossing the I's, whatever it may be. That thing's done, and it looks glorious, and I want to be there. And I'm sad that we can't be there, because we could all be there together, getting them home run seats, getting really dumb drunk, and yelling at opponent center fielders. And we don't get that this year, and that's sad. But if we do get baseball, at least we get something.
Can't wait to get kicked out of the stadium next year. I'm so excited.
Boom, there's another new title. One of the final things I had, I'll kind of have this as my final thought in a way. If you guys, unless you guys have anything else you want to add to it, final thought. We'll pull a few comments, and then we'll go ahead and make way to the taco stand. Oh, another thing to be sad about. But there was a comment in a Facebook group about the Dodger Stadium renovations, and it said, this was the idea. It's out there, but I like it. It says sell seats at a discount. Send them our photo, and they can put a cardboard cutout in the seats, in your seats.
Hell
yeah. And then between plays or pitches or whatever, the cameras will scan the crowd. Like, just do it for fun? ? So how much would you pay to have your head, just a Xerox copy of your head plastered on a seat on top deck, Brooke?
I'd pay like $200 for that. I'll pay about $200.
I mean, it's not there permanently. It's each game, I would imagine.
I mean, you mean like per game?
Yeah,
Not very much. Less than what I would pay for a normal Top Deck ticket.
I said $1, and then I said, let's go throwback prices. We'll do $6 for Top Deck, $6 for the Pavilion, and then we're good. I don't remember any of the other prices. I just remember those. But it just apparently I think we're being grainy, guys. People are saying that we have 2005 graphics right now.
I think they're talking about the people being posted in the stands.
Oh yeah, I'm down. The Xerox.
Yeah, it's about the same thing.
Xerox.
Leslie Taylor points out that it's like the KBO too. KBO has like they have the cardboard cutouts, but they also have like the blow up dolls. It's very strange. I mean, they should have just gone with the cardboard cutouts.
I got one other final thought then on that, but let's take a couple more comments here.
Jamie Lincoln says $1,000 behind home plate.
Ooh,
$1,000. I think Lincoln meant like to stay behind home plate.
Is it per game? Are you asking per game, Clint, or is it per?
Yeah, I'm saying per game.
Per game, and I'm like, dude, I'm not paying nothing per game.
Well, like $1 to get your stupid face plastered back there. I think that's fine.
Pay $1.
Yeah. Dude, if it's a cutout of me looking at Mary Hart behind home plate,
we gotta get the Mary Hart with her wings up.
With Mary Hart.
With Gary Hart.
Gary Hart.
Oh, you married wrong. Shout out to Judy. We love you, Judy. I'm just messing around. Gary Hart.
She's coming.
And this is the last episode with Gary because he's about to get murdered. But my second final thought here, my final thought. I was at a Dodger game a long time ago, in times of your BC as we call it, before Corona, and it wasn't that long after the time where fans threw an inflatable cork on the field for Sammy Sosa after he got caught corking his bat.
Hell yeah.
But somebody brought an inflatable like doll, like a dirty special Happy Time doll, and they were hitting it around like a beach ball. So good. That was just a glorious sight. People at Dodger Stadium. It wasn't a 99-cent store beach ball.
I remember it. I remember it being passed down.
Anyways, guys, I think that's about it. Appreciate everybody for hanging out with us. I think this was a really fun show, and it shows, just drink before the show. Anyways, find us on the internet. We are Dodgers Nation. You can go to DodgersNation.com and see all the stuff. We put out some really, really, really good posts today, and we're doing our best to find you the best content we can each day that isn't just the same news crap or the same boring stuff or who was the fastest player on each team in history. No, it's boring. We want to have some fun. And if we don't think it's fun, well, there's a chance we might still post it. But for the most part, we're trying. So please click. Please keep us alive. And while you're at it, subscribe to Blue Heaven. We are on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, Player FM, so many more. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.
That was really good. I am at BrookMe3. This guy over here on this side of me is at Alcohol. We are on Twitter and Instagram. We are at Official Dodgers Nation on Instagram, at Dodgers Nation on Twitter. Thank you guys every single week, you guys just bring the heat in the comment section. We cannot thank you enough for it, because without these comments, this would be probably a 30-minute show.
Yeah,
probably just us talking to each other. So we really enjoy that. We like engaging with you guys on that. And I want to give a special shout out to Santiago Venegas over on, I think Santiago's on Facebook today. He had those 3D printouts, the Dodgers 3D printouts. I want to shout you out for that.
Oh, that's that guy? Yeah. Hell yeah, I love that thing.
Dude,
I want one. I need one for back here.
Yeah, he said we're gonna put this on set, so I just want to give him a shout out. We're gonna try to.
Yeah, but
we'll engrave your name right here, just for so we always know forever.
There you go, Santiago.
This is my set right now.
If you could make a 3D printout of Clint, just in general, we appreciate that. Again, we want to thank Mr. Gary Lee over there on the keys. Thank you so much for pushing through the hangover today, Gary. We appreciate you more than you know. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, and we'll see you, depending on how this goes, probably next week.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.